Chloe 70 or Tracy Ellis Ross?
Wow.
This is a hard one for me.
Wow.
Like, phenomenal.
The Creative Creative starts now.
It's Mars over all things iconic, and welcome back to another episode of The Creative Creative. This week, I have one of my favorite stylists in the building. I first came across today's guest. She came across my timeline. She had on a Telfar sweater dress, and I had never seen it styled in that way before. And I was like, I have to know more about who this is. So I went and followed your Twitter, your Instagram, all of that, and I've just been keeping it with you ever since. She has styled for Mel Reneè, Tinashe, Topicals, Document Journal, Luar, Kiki Palmer, and so much more is on her resume. I love her distinct eye for accessories. Please help me welcome Mel Reneè to the Creative Creative.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
You're actually popping my podcast cherry today.
Really?
So thank you for being my first.
Oh, many more to come.
It's exciting.
Many more to come.
Yes.
I love, you are like the epitome of why I created the show. I just wanted to get into minds of creators who I really, really respect their work.
Thank you so much.
Of course. So, Fashion Week is upon us. Are you ready for the chaos?
Are we ready?
Child.
Battle down the hatches.
I got 3 Fashion Week event invites just today. And I'm like, because I didn't think, y'all don't want me in the room. I was like, okay, that's fine. Yeah. But they started piling in today. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, you're hitting the ground running.
Most of it is open bar parties, which I don't mind.
But it's so good to go and mingle, meet people, just have FaceTime. It's always good to go out and just see everyone so that people remember your face.
Exactly.
You know?
It's necessary because I'm very introverted. Well, I like a small, intimate thing, but it's very necessary. I feel, because a lot of opportunities do come from just being in the room and introducing yourself to people. And it helps me a lot with getting over because I can have social anxiety too in fashion spaces. So I try to, the more and more I go, the easier it gets. So especially if the bar's open, everybody just be
once
off
you
their
have that
rocker.
First drink.
Right.
After that first drink, your jitters calm down, and then you can start to talk to people. Make your way to somebody that you already know.
Right.
And then make sure you're introducing yourself to new people. There's such an art to networking.
It is.
In a way that feels natural and not forced.
Yes.
You know?
Because I used to hate it so bad because I always felt am I forcing it or am I being weird? But then it's just kind of you figure out some people are for you, some people are not.
And you realize we're all in the room feeling the same way.
Right.
That helps.
Right. It does. Yeah. It does. I read a tweet maybe a few months ago, and it was just kind of life is so much easier when you realize that nobody is paying attention to you.
No one cares that much.
They don't care. So I'm just you know what? You are absolutely...
Let me get out of my head.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So a new season is approaching. Do you like a New York summer or a New York fall?
I'm a New York summer girl.
Really? I like the fall better.
I know. I mean, I love my light layers. I love to put on a jacket. It's great for style, but just as far as how I feel, my energy level in the summer, because you're coming out of spring where it's still freezing. Yeah. So as soon as you get that first warm day, when it's warm from morning until night,
the city be booming.
Baby, I'm alive.
There's no summer like a New York summer. No. But I guess I just love fall more so because that's when my birthday is. And it's I don't know, the city feels very gloomy in the fall, and I just kind of like that moodiness of it all.
When is your birthday?
October 11th.
Okay.
Yeah, Libra season. You're a Sag, right?
I'm a Sag. December 2nd. So
December
technically
2nd.
fall.
Okay.
Right before winter.
Do you have the same birthday as Britney Spears?
I do.
Ooh, that's iconic. That's one of my icons. Yeah. So with the new season approaching, new month, it's time to manifest big opportunities in our next segment called Dream Gig, which is where we manifest any opportunities that we've been thinking about in any creative industry. So if you can pick any gag-worthy job to have in the industry or something that you're manifesting, what would it be?
You know, one of my dreams is to do costuming for a cult classic film.
Ooh.
I want that like Basic Instinct or like Clueless or those films where they're just known for their iconic looks and you see someone on the street and you're like, oh, that girl's dressed like this movie or that movie. I really want to style a film that speaks to me that way, where I can do storytelling and really help build characters. That is like my ultimate dream goal.
I see that for you. So is that like a lane you want to go into primarily when it comes to styling?
You know, I'm not, when it comes to styling, I really actually like to keep my options open. I like to have a lot of fun with it. I like to do everything that like kind of all the opportunities that come my way. So there's nothing that I'm like, oh, I primarily want to be this kind of stylist or that kind of stylist. I actually really like the variety. I think that's what makes it fun and keeps me loving it. Yeah.
I think that is very necessary because one, the coin, like, keep the job coming in. But for two, it's just kind of like, it's great to like have all that experience from like different places. So when you do the film, like, you can go for it.
Yeah. And it all informs one another, all of those sectors of styling like inform the other. So I find it good to just have experience in general.
I think it's coming. Because you've done like some music videos, right?
I've done a few music videos. I haven't done like any short films yet. So I think a smaller goal, like until I get to that bigger goal, is to probably start doing some like short films and some TV.
I'm here for that. So for me this week, I want to eventually, like, doing this show, it has taught me that I just know many creators from so many like sectors of the industry, from modeling to styling to creative directing. So I would love to like create a way for creatives to just like do fun one-off projects. Like, it don't have to be attached to anything. Of course it's going to be of great quality because that's what we do. But I would like to get like different stylists, different models, different designers together and just like do like little cute one-off projects. And like
what kind of projects?
Like editorials or like short films or just things where we can just like pull our resources together and just have fun and do things. Because it's like when something is attached to a paycheck or if it's attached to a company or a particular brand, you kind of like lose a little bit of yourself as far as the creative process. So I would like for like to create something so where creators can come together who are like-minded and just do fun shit.
I mean, you're also a good start with the podcast. Like you're
I didn't think about it that way.
You're meeting creatives, you're building a community, and so like this is really the first stepping stone to that bigger goal.
You're absolutely right. I did not think about it that way. But yeah, that's like, I think that would be so much fun because everybody has a different perspective in fashion, and I think when they all come together, it's really, really magical.
I agree, and it's so fun to create just for creating's sake.
Yes. It like keeps me alive.
It
like,
really does.
But when it's attached to other things, I just like, oh my gosh, like I can stress out about it or procrastinate about it, and I just would rather not. But yeah,
I can relate.
And we're back. It's time for Creative Community, and this is where listeners send me questions. But this week, I'm going to do it a bit different because Mel tweeted something maybe a week or two ago, and it really resonated with me, and I just want to break it down. So recently, you tweeted, sometimes it feels like the more I work harder, it is to be creative. We have to set aside intentional time to create once our dreams start coming true, and we have less time to just dream. So this resonated with me because as a creative, this is something that I struggle with, where it's just kind of like, I want to set aside time to do, I don't know, create a mood board for just an idea I have in my head, but it's just also like, well, you also need to be doing this, that, something you were hired to do, or something that just has like a deadline. So how do you set aside intentional time to just dream and create just different things that are just happening, even though your career is like booming?
You know what? Like, for me, it's about taking it. So there's times when a job comes in and I know that I am feeling a little burnt out, I'm feeling a little stressed, and it is time for me to step away for maybe a week or 2 weeks and just take time to do nothing. You know that meme where it's like creatives need time to sit around and do nothing?
Absolutely.
So there's times where I'll like take off a week, but I'm not doing anything. I'm not like on a staycation or traveling somewhere or like making plans. I'm just in my house, lighting incense, getting on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
watching old runway shows, cracking open the books, and just like trying to like re-inspire myself
Mm-hmm.
because it's so hard to get back into that space once you start working consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And you like think back to the times when you were dreaming about working consistently, but you
Right.
had so much time to just dream and make mood boards and make plans.
Mm-hmm.
And you that time gets away from you, you know, like once you're working all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to just take it, because how can you drink from an empty cup?
You're
know?
right.
How are you
You're
going to
right.
be creative if like you have nothing there?
You're right.
So it's necessary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's kind of mandatory to, if I'm hearing correctly, to your creative process, where I just have to like let go.
I have
just
to
a little
sit,
bit.
do like kind of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I like to, you know, have my little edible, or, you know,
Yes.
have a little, and just, I really, like, I love to watch old runway shows. Like, that's something that really gets me inspired. Looking at old magazines that I've probably flipped through 100 times, but I still always find something new. And also, like, I love to be on, like, Vestiaire and eBay,
Oh my
and
gosh.
just, like,
I'm
looking.
getting more into that.
It's so, like, it informs my creative process in some ways, because I'll see an old comb skirt or something, and then I go look at that runway show, and then that leads to something else, that leads to something else. So it's just doing it.
I think I agree, and I think the best way is to get lost in whatever your art and creative space is. But just, like, do it with, like, no overhead.
Exactly.
Open up Google and
you
get
don't have
into
any,
it.
like, there's no end goal. You're kind of just, you're just researching.
Okay. That was good advice. So make sure y'all listening and taking it, because I struggle with it, so I'm gonna take that advice. Because every time I sit back and do nothing, I feel so bad. I just feel like you can be doing something else, but it's just kind of like, it's torture. And I don't need to do that to myself, so.
You really don't. Like, our bodies need time to rest. Our minds need time to rest. It is really okay to do nothing.
It is.
It really is.
It is. Especially in a city like this where you're just going all the time.
Yeah.
So, do you have, like, a favorite city getaway? Like, mine is Philly and DC. Like, do you have a getaway where you just have to get out the city sometimes?
Well, I like to go home. I'll go home to Florida and visit my mom, visit family. My mom's neighborhood is just, like, all trees.
Oh, I love
and just like little walking paths. So when I go home, I'm just like, I take like 3 walks a day. And I'm not doing anything. I'm just walking, listening to music, thinking,
I love that.
chilling. So I really do enjoy like going home.
I love that.
And I love an upstate getaway too. That's always fun.
I haven't been to an upstate getaway yet, but I do have like some cabins in my Airbnb wish list that I want to visit, because it just seems like a good time, especially with like some good weed, a good drink. Yes.
It's so nice, honestly, especially in the fall. Like once the air starts to get crisp and the leaves are falling, a little cabin moment, some hot chocolate.
Yeah. See, you get it. You have a very distinctive eye when it comes to fashion, and your overall taste. If you just heard her plan a vacation, like, it's tastier. But that just doesn't come from anywhere. So where did you grow up, and what are some things from your upbringing that shaped the person that you are today?
So I was born in New York. I spent like the first few years of my life here, as like the first few years of elementary school. So like some of my earliest memories are literally school shopping for like the next school year.
Oh, cute.
And we would like go to Jamaica Ave, get all the new sneakers.
So you were a Brooklyn girl.
I was a Queens girl.
Queens girl.
A Queens girlie. So going to Jamaica Ave, getting all the new shoes, the FUBU, like 2 pieces. And style was just so instinctive, like to like my family and all the women around me. And I remember like looking up to my cousin so much. And she would always wear like black t-shirts with all this silver jewelry, which I feel like really informs probably my jewelry taste.
But so that makes sense.
She would just have it like stacked and stacked and stacked, and like earrings, you know, earful of earrings. And my mom was like always in a mule, always in a heel, always in like a little skirt. So style and taste like just came like natural. And since I was young, I was really so interested in how I was dressed. Like it was important to me, even from like elementary school. What I was wearing would make or break my day. So I feel like that really informed like my fashion taste. And I just took it with me like all through my childhood years.
That's crazy, because I feel the same way. It's just that I didn't know how to rebelize until I was older.
Right.
Where it's just kind of like, I was just spending so much time getting dressed, and I didn't have many options to pull from. But there was just certain things that I would put on that just would activate something in me. So I kind of like carry that into my life today, where it's just kind of like I know if I put this pant on, the shirt on, it's gonna put me in a particular mood, and that's why I am very intentional about shopping. Like I just don't buy shit just because it's on sale, because I want everything I wear to like inspire a part of me to be in the world.
Yeah, you wanna curate your look.
Absolutely.
And this is gonna age me a bit, but I don't know if you remember the Delia's catalog.
Definitely. I used to tear shit out.
Tear it
yes.
out, look. I'm like, not me mood boarding and like
right.
Started then. So yeah, that probably also informed my styling too.
That is insane. They had the best t-shirt collection. Like I was so obsessed with their t-shirt collection.
The big pants.
Yes.
And sneakers.
Yes. That's kind of missing from the industry today. Like teenagers are like looking like adults now. So it's kind of like y'all don't have anything for them.
There's nothing for teens anymore.
Nothing.
And
that's like such an open market. Like they like to shop. So, but I guess the malls are like kind of closing down and shit like that too. So I guess it all kind of feeds into itself. But it's sad because I feel like that was also part of like finding my style, like just walking through the mall and trying shit on and looking at mannequins and feeling the clothes. Like I couldn't imagine having online as the only option for clothes.
Remember just walking through the mall?
Yes,
like Friday night, we're all at the mall.
Just got a little bit of allowance, and
I spent that little bit of allowance on clothes.
Exactly. Hungry. Did you grow up near Urban Outfitters? I mean, not Urban Outfitters. Rugged Warehouse.
I didn't have that. I don't think we had that.
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
So it's basically like a how can I explain it? It's kind of like a store where brands would send like clothes that had like minor eras to their place of business and they would sell it. But I feel like the eras in the clothes would make me like them more. And it was like right across the street from the mall. So, and it was right next to CC's Pizza. So we would like walk to CC's Pizza, eat, go to Regular Warehouse, and then go to the mall and like just walk around. And it was so many other kids that did it. Like it just done something like
that. Reminds me of vintage shopping a bit, buying things that have like a little error or a little flaw, and then like just making it your own. And also started vintage shopping really early. My mom used to love like going antiquing and that sort of thing. So I was always into like buying old shit.
That makes sense because that's where the magic is for me. But I feel like today, being that people are so consumed with fast fashion, the vintage shopping today is really bad.
I know.
Like, I don't want to buy secondhand Fashion Nova. Like, y'all have to, like, really invest in your pieces to keep the cycle going. Like, because we can't, secondhand Zara, we can't do that.
I know. You know, one of my favorite places to get secondhand in the city is Tokyo 7. Do you ever go there?
Where is it?
I love. It's on, it's right near St. Mark's.
Okay. Like near Trash and Vaudeville? Or where Trash and Vaudeville used to be?
What? It's on like First Ave, I want to say.
Okay.
Really great old comb and like a lot of Japanese brands. You can find Prada, Marni. Really great stuff. Nothing fast fashion. You should check them out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit them up. So you were born in NYC, went down to Florida, and then what made you decide to move back to NYC?
So basically, I was going to school at the Art Institute, which, we won't speak of. But one of my professors actually told me, like, you should really just move to New York and start assisting. Because I had this whole, like, plan already laid out about
You went to the Art Institute in Florida or here?
In Miami.
Okay.
So I had a plan laid out about how I wanted to really be a fashion stylist. And so she's like, honestly, like, you should really just move to New York. And I knew I wanted to come back to New York to start styling. So I came here specifically to start styling.
And what year did you come back?
2013, so about 11 years ago.
That's when I came too.
Really? We're OGs now.
Yeah. I moved 2012, it was New Year's Eve. So into 2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
I moved March of 2013.
Okay.
And it was like one of the coldest winters. But I was so excited to be here. And I really hit the ground running. I started working at Bloomingdale's on 59th.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
What department?
I was at Sandro in the shop and shop.
Okay.
I was a shop and shop girly.
Okay. I also found out, stalking your Twitter the other day, that you used to work at one of my favorite stores, Opening Ceremony.
R.I.P.
New York has not been the same since
it will never be the same.
Like, there was one store where I would go, even if I didn't have money to shop, I just loved being in that space. And the way they curated pieces, like, they understood my style like no other store. So it's just kind of like, I miss it so much.
We really have not filled that void since it's been gone. We don't have anything similar.
Yeah,
but honestly, Opening Ceremony informed my styling so much because I learned so much about emerging brands. You know, because in the beginning, like, it was just really about who's on the runways and, like, you know, the bigger, obviously, brands. And so when I was working at Opening Ceremony, it just, like, opened up this new world for me of smaller, like, more emerging designers that I would have never known about had I not worked there. And then it really informed my research. So there's nothing like it. There will never be anything like it.
Right. It's just...
Also the parties.
Yes.
The parties.
I remember when Solange released Saint Laurent and she pulled up in, like, the Lamborghini.
Oh my God.
Do you remember that?
I don't think I was there yet.
That shit was insane. I also remember when the camper sneakers were, like, all of the rage.
Oh my God.
And everyone's getting them from the opening ceremony, and I was like, I have to have some. I have to have me up here. And then I finally got up here, and it kind of had died down by that time. But
you know what? It's like when you get that thing that you really want, I don't care if it died down. It's like I still want it, and I'm still gonna rock it. And it feels good to finally get that thing that you're like, oh, I can, you know, now I save my money, now I can get it. I love that.
Feet was hurting. I didn't know they made your feet hurt because everybody just made it look so effortlessly. And I'm like, these actually hurt my feet. But I got them now, so I'm going to wear them.
Feet bleeding, still stomping.
Exactly.
Feet bleeding, still stomping. Absolutely.
Exactly. So we're at Bloomingdale's. We're back in New York. We're working at Bloomingdale's and Sandro's. And then where'd you go from there?
So from Bloomingdale's, I quit one day on my lunch break. I was like, actually, I've had enough. And it was the summer, and I just was like walking around. So I worked there for my first year that I lived in New York. And I was just walking around Soho, just like passing out my resume to different stores because I wanted to like stay in like luxury. And I came upon Opening Ceremony. Mind you, this is my first year in New York, so I didn't really know what Opening Ceremony was. Like, I had heard of it, but I wasn't like really immersed in that culture yet. And I walked in, and one of the managers there was like, you know what, come outside with me, let's have a coffee, let's just chat. And the interview was just him asking me my favorite DJs, like my favorite music, my favorite brands.
That's what I like.
It was just like really chill. And then he was like, you'd be a perfect fit. We'd love to have you. And I was like, what?
That's crazy that it was that natural.
And then I went home and I told my roommate, he was like, oh my God, you got a job at Opening Ceremony? And then I started like researching it and I was like, wait, this is actually so cool. So that was exciting.
I'm glad that you came here with a plan. Like, you knew what sector you wanted to be in. Because when I came here, I was doing like refurbishing. Like, people would send me heels and I would like spike them out, set them out. But I didn't have enough money or enough customers to sustain me that way. So I ended up going into the education system, and I stayed in the education system for like 8 years. But I always felt so out of place there. And I feel like had I just stuck the course and like just done things like within the industry, I wouldn't have felt that way. So it's nice to know that like you came here and you just stuck with fashion until you got to where you wanted to be.
I think that, you know, but we all have our path, and you know, that probably informed you in some ways. So like even do your podcast and be able to like speak so effortlessly and like, so I think that it all works out in the end.
Yeah, it does.
You know,
it does. I don't regret it because it does inform a lot of the decisions that I make as far as creatively. Sometimes it does feel like wasted time, but if I'm saying it informs my experience and how I work, then it's not wasted time at all.
It's not wasted time.
So you went from Opening Ceremony, is that how you got clients? Because like everybody shopped the Opening Ceremony.
So that is how I started to meet like other photographers and like other like kids my age who were trying to like break into fashion. So we would start doing test shoots together, and Opening Ceremony was actually so great because they would let me like style things for the website sometimes, like for our blog and everything. So that helped me like start to understand like how to start styling. And then I met a few different stylists, and then I started to assist. So I didn't get clients yet, but I started to get experience with styling. And I started to
That's
like
important.
intern a little. It was really just about, because you want to learn first. So I interned first. With Moses. Shout out to Moses. He was so great. And I interned with him for a few months, and then I met other stylists, and I never assisted just one stylist. I always made sure to like hop around a bit and do some commercial, do some editorial, do some magazine work. So that was helpful, but opening ceremony definitely opened those doors.
Absolutely. And now, like, you assisting other stylists, and do you have stylists assist you now?
Yeah, so I have a lot of like assistants and interns come in. Girls who I love who are also starting their styling journey also, and they're starting to get their own clients. So I like to have a mix. I like to have girls who are already doing their own thing and like understand, and then I like to also have girls who are really just getting started and don't know even how to steam yet and just need that experience. Because I remember when I needed that experience.
Yeah.
So I like to keep, my doors are always open. I'm always having like kind of new people come in. I don't have like a main like first assistant. I have people that I work with consistently, but I like to give people opportunities.
Absolutely. And that's why it's important to create community in that way.
Sure.
Because if you don't experience it, then you don't know what that feels like to need an opportunity like that. So I'm glad you're keeping the circle going.
Exactly.
You're one of my fave stylists. I've said it like 50 times.
Thank you.
And that's because you set the tone and you create trends as opposed to following them. And I can tell that it's very intentional. So can you walk us through what a creative process is like? Let's say you're preparing for a fashion campaign shoot. How do you prepare to make sure that when you look at this campaign, you're going to see my taste and my style and my vision?
So it all starts with the research. As soon as I get a deck or I get a job, I immediately start to look over the deck. Then I start my research process. Who is this girl? Who is this guy? What are we styling? What era is this? What is this? Where do I need to pull from? So I start with like, my online research, going through magazines, and then I start to build out my mood board. And I like to build a very intentional and detail-oriented mood board.
Do you do your mood board on like an electronic platform, or do you do it like paper?
So I'm an old school girl. I do like just Keynote. I do like a Keynote mood board, multiple pages. Like this is what the hair and makeup is gonna be. This is what the look is gonna be. This is what the shoes are. This is what the accessories are. This is like the inspo that we're pulling from. Like I'm very detailed because that helps me get into the vibe and the mood. Even if it's something like a simple like commercial job, I still like to start with that detailed research and vision so that once I start shopping, I know exactly what I'm looking for. I'm not going in like confused,
Okay. So when you're putting together your vision board and then you're shopping, let's say, can we talk about your Nike campaign?
We can.
Okay. So when you got the Nike campaign, what I loved about it is that, yes, Nike is like athleisure wear, but you really made it look like high fashion, which some sectors of it is. But you really made athleisure wear look like I would want to wear this, not to the gym, but just like on an everyday out or to an event. Like it was really done so well. So when you working with a brand like Nike, who has all of the in-house materials, like do you just see what their inventory is, or do you like kind of step out and like match up things with their inventory that they already have? Because I know sometimes when you get commercial shoots, like they're already like trying to sell a certain product. But I don't get that. Well, I didn't get that from your Nike campaign because it had so much range.
Well, first of all, thank you. So with that, Nike actually came to me with a specific vision to make it fashion. So they had their core product that we needed to style around, and then they had their core talent. So what I did was basically make a detailed mood board for each of the talent. And I did deep research like into their Instagram, into their style, what their favorite brands were. I had interviews with each of them like over Zoom to just talk to them about how they like to look, what they feel comfortable in. And then I started the research process. And actually I was really grateful because Nike really really gave me the opportunity to kind of have a little freedom of expression, which was nice, which I think was the overall vision of the shoot. It was like some expressive. So that it was a great opportunity to do something commercial but still make it fashion. And they gave me a lot of leeway and range. I was actually shocked with some of the things they let me do. I was like,
I love
really?
that.
Yeah.
Because it was, for me, even like the accessories that you paired with the athleisure wear, I was just kind of like, wow, like you took Nike to a different world. How did that work? Like, did you have relationships with different jewelry brands that kind of pulled it in, or how did you go about matching accessories with athleisure wear?
So it's also always about your relationships, you know, like with the brands. So I reached out to certain jewelry designers to like see if they would, you know, be able to loan, because sometimes brands are not able to loan for branded content. So what
Can you break that down a little bit?
So let's say you're shooting a Nike campaign and you want to pull Swarovski jewelry. Sometimes Swarovski jewelry may not want to loan for other branded content because they want it to be about Swarovski jewelry and not Nike. So then you have to go and you have to shop for it.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I did a mix of shopping and pulling, but I really knew that I wanted the accessories to really support the wardrobe, since we couldn't do too much as far as like using other brands that were Nike. So I wanted to have a lot of fun with the jewelry. And jewelry is actually always like a good starting place for me. I'm such an accessory girl. I think it's so important. I've worked with so many stylists who are like, they never use jewelry. I used to think that was so interesting.
It's weird.
Like, not even an earring. I mean, if that's your style, that's your style. I get that.
Yeah.
But I've always been like, more is more. You know?
Like, and I liken it to, like, when you read Fashion Critics in the magazine, like, I'm always looking forward to what the jewelry is. It's always, like, the last line. I don't know. I just think it's important. It's hard to, like, get a niche on it, but I do think it's very, very important. You do all kinds of styling, from personal to campaigns to runway shows to editorial. Which one do you prefer, and where does the coin reside?
So, okay, my preference is definitely editorial.
Okay.
I love to do an editorial. I love to have fun. I love to storytell. I love to have some freedom, which editorial gives me. And I also love like working with the brands, pulling from the brands. I love to do the market research. So I'm definitely an editorial girl. That is not where the coin resides.
That's what I hear. A lot of stylists will be like, I have to do a lot of out-of-pocket things when it comes to editorial.
Yeah, you know, I mean, but you're also feeding your creativity. So, you know, sometimes you're going to have to pay a little for that. You know, sometimes you have magazines that do have a budget, shout out to them. And they, you know, they help with the creative costs. But I would say that the coin definitely resides more with the commercial work.
Okay, which will be like the Nike and
like you know, the bigger brands that are going to bring you on. Even some brands that you wouldn't expect. I've worked with like hair care brands and beauty brands.
You did topicals.
I did topicals. I just worked with this brand called Pros. That was really fun. They do basically they do like hair care, and it's all customized like to your hair type. And that was really fun. That was like a month-long project that I did with them. So, you know, there's so many different like brands to pull from. There, you never know who's going to reach out to you. But definitely, I would say that is where the bread and butter is.
Being that you love editorial, could you see yourself ever being like a fashion editor for a publication?
I would love that. I do also really love my freedom. I do. So it would have to be a situation where I could do both. Yeah.
Speaking of, print is so important because it seems like every other day magazines is like shutting its doors, which makes me really sad. And I know you look through old fashion magazines and books often. Why is print so important to your creative process? And which publications from the past like feed your inspiration the most?
So print is important because that's when I first fell in love with fashion. Like some of my earliest like memories of just fashion was like going to buy Vogue, buying Teen Vogue, Teen L, and just like looking through the pages. And I really love I love a physical copy in my hand.
Me too.
I want to turn the page.
Absolutely.
I want to smell the book.
Yes, I want to open the perfume insert.
And I want to keep it on my shelf. Like I take really good care of my magazines, and I have like my collection of magazines and old books. When it comes to magazines, so one of my first loves, I would say, was self-service. I used to love self-service magazines, especially since it was hardcover, which I always thought was so cool. And I just like really loved the work that was coming out of it. But also I'm one of those people who will go to a bookstore and buy a random indie fashion magazine.
Really?
Just because I like to see, I want to see what else is going on, besides like, the big stylists that we always see, the same editors, the same photographers. It's really nice to look at emerging talent, to look at publications from other countries, other places.
I used to love to go to Barnes and Nobles just for that. They kept like a plethora of different country magazines.
I think it's important.
Because it's a whole, it's okay. It's a whole world out here.
Exactly. So. And we don't want to all be pulling from the same well.
Exactly.
When you're scrolling Instagram, we're all looking at the same exact images. So sometimes, your work may start to bleed into everyone else's. So, you want to make sure that you're sourcing from variety.
You said it was called self-service?
Self-service.
I've never heard of that. I'm going to have to Google that.
You should, because they have a great index, too, on their website where you just click different photographers and, like, all of this, like, wealth of, like, old photography and, like...
Are they still publishing today?
They are.
Oh, wow. Okay. So a listener from the show, Danny Alvarez, wanted to know, what's an old TV show everyone should watch if they're into fashion?
An old TV show... I mean, I love Mad Men.
Okay.
Oh my God. The costume designing on Mad Men was incredible. The set designing too. I was like absolutely in love. I love Sex in the City. I mean, we all love Sex in the City.
Oh, I too.
Surprisingly, also Girlfriends. The fashion on Girlfriends was so great.
It was so good. And I learned from watching Girlfriends, I keep losing my words, that when Tony would be like, don't let this Prada suit fool you. She's actually wearing Prada because you can't say that on television and not actually be in the piece.
Exactly.
But yeah, and it's like even Martin. I'll go back and look at Shanae. Shanae had on Chanel, Prada, Dr. Martin. Like she was really wearing that shit. But even like Pam and Gina, like they had on the Jean Paul Gaultier and all that.
Oh God. But all the old TV, honestly, all the old black television in general, because I love A Living Single moment too.
Absolutely.
I loved Half and Half.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah.
Love.
So much range there.
Oh my God. It was murdering.
Yes.
It really was.
But they had budgets back then too.
To be alive, like to be styling back then, I wish.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, I think they respected and understood, like, telling a story through the clothes. Like, and most people are so production companies, they don't really get it, I feel like. You have to, like, pay attention to the fashion because when people look back on these shows, like, we can look back at Sex and the City and we can, like, determine what was going on in the world based off of what the characters have on.
And we're missing some of that now.
Absolutely.
Because budgets have been slashed.
They have.
They
have. I feel like the last... HBO usually gets it right. Like, they'll do a good clothing budget. But outside of HBO, I just be like, y'all are lacking. Like, what's going on? Like, even Power and the spinoffs. Like, I see them trying, but it just really doesn't, like, curl over on me most of the time.
But you know what? What's her character? Moniece?
Mary J.
Yeah, Mary J's character, she eats though.
She do.
Because it's that ghetto glam. It's that ghetto glam.
But the daughter wasn't eating. I'm like, why your daughter don't got no pieces? I was like, come on.
I feel like that's just not her character though.
Yeah. True.
She's more focused on her studies, like so that kind of speaks to her character a bit. And like where Mary J's character is that girl who's gonna have on
the flashy
Gucci
girl
from head to toe.
Yes.
You're gonna know she has coin. She wants you to see it. She's wearing it on her back.
Absolutely.
So I kind of do appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. We both love Tinashe, and you actually styled her for Refinery 29. So how does working with an artist whose art you respect impact how you style them?
So it really depends on the shoot, but I love to be able to come on and do an editorial with an artist and just have fun with them. So especially with Tinashe, because for the Refinery 29, they came to me like with this overarching vision, and we were shooting it in this house that was like a little bit creepy, and so I just wanted it to feel a little whimsical. and fun, and just like have fun with fashion with her, because she's also so willing to take risks. And so we really had the best day. Mind you, that shoot day was insane because the house for some reason had a mouse problem. So there was like these tiny little mice that would just like run out every once in a while.
It's giving New York.
The way she just like composed herself and just kept shooting and eating, I was like, this is why I love you. You are an artist. You know? So yeah, I think it's fun to come in and just like do something a little bit new with them.
Has there ever been a time where like you've been asked to work on a project with an artist that didn't kind of align with who you were?
All the time. And usually I'll like kind of pass it forward to someone who I may think is like a better fit for it. Because I think I need to be inspired by whoever it is that I'm styling. It needs to make sense. It needs to align in order for me to get excited about it. So when those opportunities come, and usually I'll know another stylist who I think, oh, you know what, this person would love to work with this artist. And so I'll just reach out to them and pass the opportunity forward.
And that's important. Like, I feel like creators don't talk enough about how like everything, you can't do everything. Like everything doesn't align with who you are.
Exactly.
And that's important because this is your work and you're kind of like curating a resume through imagery or styling or whatever the case may be. You also styled Raven Reneè, and I was super excited to see this because I feel like both of your styles mesh perfectly together. So would you ever consider primarily being a celebrity stylist, like a La Roach Zendaya situation?
So first of all, shout out to Raven. I love her so much. And I really manifested that opportunity because one of my assistants introduced me to her music. And I was listening to her and I was like, I would love to style her one day. I just said it out loud. And then she just randomly DM'd me like, hey babe, I love your work. I would love if you come work on my album.
Like, so, it was like a match made in heaven.
It was like, so that was said, like, that opportunity meant so much to me. But when it comes to celeb styling, one thing I did say earlier, I love my freedom. I really love the freedom to be able to work on different projects and walk away when I need to and take breaks when I need to. And when you're working with an artist, you really have to be dedicated to them, especially if you're going to build together. So I think for me, I like to have my moments. I like to do an editorial. I like to do like a one-off sort of situation. But when it comes to being a day in, day out dedicated stylist to an artist, I would say it's probably not my lane.
Yeah. I used to say that's kind of what I wanted to. Like, I wanted to be a personal stylist to someone's art that I love. But I think I would love to be more of like a creative direction. Like, I can pull looks. I can put together a vision. I can put together how your stage design and all that should look like. I like to like put it all together because I think I like that a lot more because I'm so in love with like the process of how things come together.
I love that.
And I see also how like celebrity stylists be stressed the fuck out. They be stressed. They get the job done, but I'm like, wow.
Shout out to those girls because that is one of the hardest jobs in the industry to me. You have to be on it 24/7, and the world is watching.
They are.
The world is
and
watching.
And they're gonna be having an opinion.
Judging, yes. The world is tweeting.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Speaking of like freelance, from your own personal experience, would you recommend that aspiring stylists get signed to management immediately, or would you recommend they kind of like feel their way out and then like let management find them?
So with management, it's so nice to have someone in your corner who's like working for you, fighting for you, making sure that you're protected, that you're getting the rates you deserve, that you're getting treated well, that your contracts are in order. I would say that it's important to make sure whatever management team you work with, you have synergy with. Make sure that, you know, whatever agency you're at aligns with the direction you want to move into. Because a lot of times, you know, you may get signed and be excited and then realize like they're sending you on a bunch of jobs you don't want to do. So you need to make sure you have that conversation first with whoever you're going to sign to. This is my direction. This is what I want to do. Is that something that you feel like you can make happen for me or help make happen for me? Because this is a team effort at the end of the day. I think it just depends on the trajectory you want to take. I'm not currently signed. I love freelancing. I love negotiating my own rates. I love doing my own contracts. Like, that comes natural to me.
I love that for you.
That comes natural to me.
Because I hate I hate talking about money, but I need to not hate talking about money.
I'm like, you know what? Actually, I I don't mind it. Not to say that I won't get signed, and that I'm always having like talks with different management companies. I don't know if I found someone that I have that synergy yet with, but I'm not in a rush. I feel like I'm doing well on my own, but I know that eventually it's going to be something that I may want to look into as things get more busy and like more serious, and I build out this empire.
When I asked this question, I asked it as if you were signed, because like it be feeling like you're signed. So to know, like, I respect your work so much more now. Like, you're doing all of this on your own. That is amazing.
Thank you.
Like, and you're working with huge corporations on your own. So I think that speaks to like, you can do it.
We can do it.
It's hard work, but you can do it.
It's 2024, you know, and like once you learn the language. And you can always outsource. You can always like maybe, pay someone to negotiate for you or look over a contract for you if you don't feel comfortable doing that. Or if you're not ready yet to take on management full time. So there's different ways to do it, There's
Absolutely.
no one way.
Absolutely. That is crazy. So you're answering the emails, you're pulling the clothes, you're negotiating contracts. Like, that is amazing. That's amazing. Who are some stylists that you consider like goated in the industry, or some stylists that you looked up to, who made it real for you to be like, I want to do this?
So, I'm such a big fan of Julia Sargamos. I hope I'm not butchering her name, but she's one of my favorite girls. I really love her.
I'm not familiar.
Oh, you've got to know Julia.
Julia. What's some of her work? I may be familiar with her work.
She's been at ID.
Okay.
What brands has she worked with? It's
I'm going to be Googling her.
Google her. An amazing black woman. She's from the UK. Beautiful.
Okay.
She used to be a model. Then she started styling. She's definitely one of my faves. Love Patty. I'm such a Patty.
Pat McGrath. I'm not Pat McGrath. Patty Wilson. I'm talking about Patricia Fields.
Oh,
There's so many Pats.
Patricia Fields. I mean,
yes. Patty Wilson's still doing her shit.
Patty Wilson is still doing her thing.
Yes.
She is still doing her thing.
Yes.
She liked one of my photos one day, and I gagged. I screenshotted it. I was like, I feel like such a dweeb, but I'm sorry. It's Patty Wilson.
Yes.
I really, really love her. Also, when I used to look at self-service, I used to love Venetia Scott, and she was a stylist and a photographer, so she would style and shoot some of her own projects, which I always thought was really cool. Those are some of my faves off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Some of them I don't know, and I'm going to be Googling them because I need to put like the little skills in the show. Yes. I'm trying to think, maybe I know the ID person by face and not by name.
When you see Julia's page, you'll be like, oh, okay, big curly hair, great style. And I love to see other black women like just doing their thing and doing it well. She's so tasteful. So yeah, shout out to Julia.
Absolutely. You are someone I look to for fashion. Like, I don't know if you consider yourself an influencer, but you can wear something and I will want to buy it. One example of that is the Swarovski ring you had. I think it was like pink. Is it pink?
I have a few of those Swarovski rings. Once, and I'm forgetting her name right now. Their new creative director, but when she came on,
she turned it. I can't think of her name either, but she turned it.
And they started doing all the colorful pieces, and it just felt like really like Polly Pocket and just fun. So I got a lot of pieces from that collection actually. Those rings and like the little earrings.
I went looking for that fucking ring, and it was there, but they didn't make it big enough for my fingers, and I was like, oh my god. But that shows how you influence me. You play with an androgyny a lot, and I like to do that too. So I love when you give like a baggy bottom with like a super sexy sheer top. Is it important for you to play within masculine and feminine energy when it comes to your personal style?
I think that the most important thing to me is to be comfortable. I love comfort, so I'm gonna wear a baggy jean. But also, I do like to sometimes, I don't always need to look, I've realized that when it comes to my style, I don't always need to look sexy. And sometimes looking sexy, it doesn't mean that you need to have on something tight or something sheer or something, like form-fitted. Sometimes it is about just throwing on something effortless and walking out in your baggy jeans, with your t-shirt, and still feeling hot. So it is important to me that I am always staying true to that. And especially like having short hair, I feel like, a lot of women with short hair feel like we have to overplay our femininity a lot in order to feel beautiful. And some days I just don't want to adhere to that shit. Some days I really just like want to be chill, and I want to wear a blazer, a baggy blazer, and a baggy pant, and it makes me feel good.
Absolutely.
It makes me feel confident.
And I think the way you carry like a masculine look, that is very sexy in itself. Like, where did I saw you? I saw you at the Tinashe concert when I was leaving. I was like, hey, Mel. And you had on like, I think a leather jacket, but it was like a varsity type of style. And then you had on like your baggy jean shorts. Like, it was very like sexy, but masculine. I was like, this is just, she eats it up every time. Like, you eat it up every time. So who are 5 clothing brands that are speaking to your personal style right now?
Ooh, I would say, I'm such a Y Project girl. I love Glenn. Glenn can do no
anything
wrong.
he does. Like I always say, and I'm gonna ask you this question too.
Okay.
If I had to live in one brand for the rest of my life, I could see it being one project.
Okay, if I had to live in one brand for the rest of my life, I would probably say Margiela.
Margiela.
It would
Good
be
choice.
Margiela for me.
Good choice. Good choice.
Speaking of the top 5, Y Project, I would say Margiela. There's this emerging brand, Nicholas Skarsgård, who I love so much. He's doing just all of these like shapely sort of pieces that are just like exciting and fresh. Yeah, I really love it. I think he's out of London, I want to say.
They got the fashion over there.
They really do.
I love the designers in London.
And I'm such a comb girl. Comb forever.
Forever. Like a particular sector of comb or just all of it?
I would say all.
All of it. Okay.
Yeah.
So we got comb, we got Y Project.
Junior. I'm such a junior.
So good.
So good.
So good. I'm always shocked when I look on like a Essence or LNCC and they're like in clearance. I was like, why are the girls not buying this? Do y'all not get it? Like this is the piece shade you want to have.
And you can find so much of it on secondhand like websites. You can find so much comb. Like honestly, that's one of my favorite things to do is just like research old comb and like put it in my cart. You can find a lot of it easily.
And I feel like they're a brand who don't like their quality. They don't veer from it. Like it's very consistent. Because some brands start off great and then they just like cut corners and I just like, you are the queen of accessories. And I'm very confused why like you don't have like or maybe it's in the works, like a Swarovski or Tiffany's or Pandora campaign because you would sell it so well. So I don't know what the fuck they're waiting on. So we're going to manifest that that's coming. Because come on. It don't make fucking sense. When I look at your work, the accessories always take the lead. Why are accessories so important?
You know, so after I worked at Opening Ceremony, I started working with jewelry designer Martine Ali. And
love her.
I started to like really get a newfound appreciation for just like jewelry and accessories and the way that it just shapes a look. Like you can wear just a white tank top and jeans and really take it to a new place with just like clipping a pin into your tank top or like wearing a few chains or wearing your statement earring. So I just feel like it rounds out a look in a special way. And I always have just like my everyday pieces that I feel naked without. Like if I don't have on my rings, I'm like, oh, like I'm naked today. Like if I forget them, yeah, it's just a cherry on top for me.
Absolutely, because it's really, and I see it a lot in your work and in your personal style. It's just like accessories is just the top of the top for you, and I think it's like it's important, but it's just like everybody don't have an eye for it.
You know, I would say that jewelry is like a little more difficult just because one wrong piece and it's like you just threw off the whole, you threw off the whole thing.
Yeah. What's that piece? You posted it recently. It's kind of, it has a ball at the top, then you like stick it through. What is that called?
I love those, the balls. So I call them ball pins. And usually I'll find them on like Etsy or I'll find them on eBay. And like the ball unscrews and then you can just like manipulate your fabrics using it, which I think is really cool.
That is cool.
And Bottega actually just used some in their last collection. Like to like pin through some of the dresses, which I thought was cool. But I just think it's such a fun accessory. Like you use it as like a little nipple pin, like something naughty, something fun,
Absolutely.
you know, which is cool.
Absolutely. Which accessories would you say every fashionista should have in their wardrobe? Like an accessory starter pack.
Accessory starter pack. I would say your everyday earring. Every girl needs her everyday earring. Your statement rings. And that I would say that is a good foundation. So a good earring and some nice rings can easily round out a look. I'm also such a necklace girl. I like to stack them. Every season I have like my necklace of the season that I'm wearing. Like before it was the puffy hearts and now it's the M chain, like the Signet chain. So it just depends.
Okay. Top 5 jewelry brands that are taking it for you right now.
Ooh. Okay, so definitely Pancanesi.
I am obsessed. The FKA Twigs ear that they did.
God.
That ear is like $3,000. I was like, I want that fucking ear.
I also started adding it up because I was like, I need this whole thing.
Right, because when you go to their website, it's like you buying one earring at a time. You may get a pair every now and then, but it's like one earring at a time.
I would definitely say Pancanesi. There's also an emerging brand called Hugo Crete.
Love them.
Love Hugo Crete a lot. There's a silverware brand out of New York called Agnes that I also really love. Agnes. She makes this ring that I'm wearing and also my earrings.
Ooh, I'm getting into that.
And my girl of all girls, Patricia Von Muslin.
I'm not familiar.
She is the it woman of New York City. She used to make a lot of jewelry for like Vogue Italia. Like when you go into her studio, it's just like all sculptures. So she makes sculptures, she makes jewelry, and all of her jewelry is like really sculptural and like significant. Beautiful woman, beautiful pieces.
Ooh.
She's definitely like my fave of all faves. Also just because I love her as a person. But the quality is insane. And the process to how she makes the pieces, I would definitely look her up.
Okay.
And you know what? Lastly, I won't say a brand. I will say buying vintage.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't go wrong because like no one else will really have it. Like that's how you find your signature pieces. I'm always buying things on eBay, Etsy, little shops.
Are you a brooch girl?
The pins. I'll do the pins.
The pins.
I'll do the pins. You know, I haven't really gotten to like a little granny brooch yet, but I need to explore that.
I used to like it a lot. But there's certain aspects of it that I hate. Like I hate like if I see like a Chanel brooch on a fashionable laser, I'd be like, girl, you're doing it wrong. Who are some of your fashion icons that help you shape your personal style?
Ooh. One is definitely Elsa Peretti.
Yes. Absolutely.
Wow. Because also she informed my love for jewelry, but also just her personal style was so beautiful and effortless to me. I love, I know I'm going to say the girl we all know, Rihanna. I mean.
How can you not?
How can you not? I mean, the risk that she just like took. And I mean, shout out to Mel Ottenberg. I mean, he's not a fashion girly. I mean, he's not a woman, but love Mel Ottenberg.
Yeah.
Just like how he helped shape her style.
Yeah.
Wow. What a duo.
Because I thought Muriel and I forget her partner's name that she works with. And they done great work with Rihanna. But when she got with Mel, it just really...
It transformed.
Yeah, it transformed for sure.
And then I also pull style from like characters. So like Sex and the City, I'm such a Carrie girl. I know it's like cliche, but like when I saw Carrie for the first time that show came on, I was like, oh my God, this is fashion.
Yeah.
So
that Dior tank top with the skirt, it just lives in my brain.
Eclectic and just fun. And sometimes it looked a mess, but in a good way. It's like why do you have on this like little paperboy hat, like with the loose fitting pants and the little heel? It's iconic and it's fun. Yeah. And it's whimsical, and I really love that. I love people who have fun with their fashion.
It's so daring. Like so daring. Fashion is supposed to be fun, not stop being so safe.
When she wears Big's white t-shirt with the little Hermes belt. Yeah.
And shout out to you for getting the girls together about Miranda. Miranda has excellent style.
They
do.
Like Miranda was not in Prada. Like Miranda was not chic. Like Miranda was not a chic businesswoman who always had on a great look.
Always.
And a great sense of style. Especially compared to the other women who may have been like a little more bold. I loved her style.
Yeah. And don't forget, she took Steve to Prada to buy him a suit. Like, Miranda's that girl.
Exactly.
Don't play with her.
She got it.
Yeah.
And she had the coin.
Absolutely. All of it.
Yes.
Who would be like your style icon from Girlfriends if you had to pick one?
Ooh, that is so hard.
Yeah. Because they all gave it.
Because some days I'm a Lynn. I love to be a little goth, like a little black long skirt with a platform, a little midriff showing. She was just so sexy.
So
with
sexy.
the tattoo showing, but also Joan. I mean, I love Joan's style. She always had on a great suit. Also, always had on a great color palette, which I thought was beautiful. I mean, love tone. I love all the girls, honestly.
Yeah, they all gave it in their own way.
And I love how everybody just had their own distinctive style that was so different from the other person.
Absolutely.
But it just came together as a group.
Absolutely.
But if I had to pick one, I would maybe say Lynn.
Yeah.
I am kind of a Lynn girl.
I have this vision in my head, like if Ottilia was to hire me to do a project, I would base it around Lynn Searcy. Because I just feel like she would be an Ottilia girl. If the show was still on today, she would be an Ottilia girl.
She absolutely, and mind you, I'm in my Ottilia.
Absolutely. You know, I peeked when you walked in. I was like, yes.
So I am literally, yes, I love that.
Yes, absolutely. What advice would you give someone trying to find their personal style?
Go into the stores. You know, like everything cannot be online.
Right.
We need to go into the stores. We need to try things on, see how things fall on your body, see what fits you best, what cinches your waist. Are you better boxy? Feeling fabrics. Also, just like taking chances. I think
you have to take chances.
Have fun, and I like we said, like speaking about Carrie, she took so many chances with her style, and to me, that's what made it great. Everything was not always perfect, and I really love that. I love something that's just like a little bit out of place, but really brings a unique sense of character to a look.
Absolutely.
I think that's how you find your personal style is having fun with it.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. Also, like I feel like a very pertinent detail of personal style is once you figure out the fabrics and the silhouettes that you like, find you a tailor. Your tailor will help guide your personal style too. And I don't think people talk about that a lot because it just came to me just now. Like my tailor helps me a lot.
I feel like I'm actually always tweeting about my tailor. I'm like, first of all, he is the most consistent man in my life. And I love him. And the way I'll come in and like, I need this by tomorrow, please. And he'll get it done for me. But absolutely tailor everything. Like clothes were not made specifically for your body.
Right.
So it's important that we go get our pants taken in, get your tank top fitted, get your skirt hemmed.
Absolutely. Because that's what they used to do back in the day.
Exactly. And doing upkeep, you know, if the button's falling off, go get your buttons fixed, go get your zippers done, go get your shoes resoled. We have to take care of our clothes, especially if we're spending a little money on it, you know.
Absolutely. The fashion industry does not make it easy for stylists to do their jobs, nor do they value them as much as they should. What are some hurdles that you had to learn to overcome in the industry, especially being like freelance? Like, what are some things that was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I had to deal with this?
Advocating for yourself. Sometimes, you know, you get on set and you're in front of the client and it's so easy just to say yes, 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 yes. But it's really important to know when to actually say no. That's actually not something that's within the scope of like, you know, the project. That's actually not something I can take on. Or knowing like, you know, how to renegotiate. Maybe that rate is not, you know, quite up to par for what you're asking me to do. How do I learn the language to have these conversations in a way that's beneficial? And I would say that was the most difficult. And you learn as you go. You stumble a lot, you know, and sometimes you leave jobs. I've left jobs in tears, like, that was so much. You know? They're like beating me up. But you learn. And then you take that into the next job and then to the next job and to the next job. And also like lean on your community. I lean on other stylists all the time. I'll reach out and say, you know, what do you think about this like budget? Or like, you know, like when I was first starting, I definitely had those friends that I could reach out to and ask those questions.
Very important.
I've had other girls like who I don't really know that well, but they'll reach out and we'll share information because we need to be sharing information.
Absolutely.
That's how we get our rates up to where they need to be. That's how we know who's getting paid, what client pays what. Important.
So how did you get over that fear of, if the fear was there, like, let's say the opportunity's not going in the way that you want it to go and you need to advocate for yourself, but you don't, like you're scared I may lose this job if I speak up. Like, how did you get over that?
I'm actually a very assertive person. So for me, I would almost rather lose the job than to lose myself in the job. So and also I'm pretty flexible. So I'm never gonna be like, oh, like forget it, I can't do that. I'm gonna try to find a way to like, okay, let's figure out a middle ground so that this works for both of us.
Absolutely.
But I definitely believe in just speaking up for yourself and just admitting when something may not work how the client wants it to work, so that you don't overpromise and then underdeliver. You need to be assertive. You need to speak up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I feel like if it's a good project and it's a good personal client, that's what they hired you for.
Exactly.
So
that you can guide it. Yeah, exactly. So you can't be afraid to use your voice.
Absolutely. You also tweeted recently, well, not recent, this was a while ago, but when you tweeted it, I went and researched and I was like, wow, this is really a thing. How do you feel about full look policies?
Enough. Enough.
It's just so boring. It's so boring.
I mean, and stylists are finding their way around it. Like, they're finding a way to make it fresh, to make it fun. I mean, you can do that through the storytelling. But, sometimes, I mean, if we're just in a studio and, like, the model's on a white backdrop and we have a full look, it's like I'm shooting a lookbook, basically. I miss, like, when we were able to really have fun with the way clothes were put together.
Yeah.
Because that should be informing the consumer.
Absolutely.
We should be showing them all the different ways that you can wear this look. Not the same way to wear this look in 50 different editorials.
I just don't think it makes sense. Like, when I look, Deja Vu is one of my favorite style videos ever. And when I look at how she wore it, and as opposed to the runway, two different looks. And I just feel like when you do full looks, you take out, you're like hindering the stylist. And I don't think it's not benefiting you as a brand, I don't think.
I mean, I guess for the brands, they want to have a very specific vision for their brand. And so they want to make sure that that's clear and that it's concise and that it's the same across the board. So it's not that I don't fully understand, but I do think that it can get quite drab.
Yeah.
And also that's why I do like to pull from emerging designers too, because we can have more fun. And also we can just show looks that like we haven't already seen 50,000 times.
Absolutely. Because I saw recently, what's the girl's name from Euphoria? She has like the big boobs. She wore a full Chloe look recently, and I hated every bit of it. What's her name?
Barbie?
Not Barbie. She's blonde. She played the crazy sister.
I forget her name.
But yeah, she wore a full Chloe look. It was brown. It just did not.
And I don't really see her as a Chloe girl.
And I don't see.
She's so much more fun.
Yeah, it was
not that
like.
Chloe's a chic. I mean, Chloe's chic and it definitely has its woman. But I think that's an interesting choice for her.
Yeah, I was like,
Not feeling this one.
Not feeling it at all. Like, maybe if you had worn like the bottom of the look with a different top, maybe I would like it. But it kind of
full look policy.
Yeah, and it aged her quite a bit. Like, she's a young girl. I was like, Chloe, I don't know about this one. How do you feel about everyone playing in nostalgia currently with fashion?
I feel like, we think that it's current, but that's always been the case. Each decade informs the next. And we've always been taking from previous decades and previous times and like making it new or, trends have a cycle and they come back around. So I don't really think it's something new. I think that the oversaturation of what we're seeing because we're constantly online makes it feel like we're constantly bombarded with the same thing. Yeah. Only because, we're constantly scrolling. Yeah. And we're, like I said, we're also all pulling from the same well. So when you're not like doing research and like finding other sources of inspiration and we're all just getting inspired from Instagram, then everybody's going to look the same and everybody's nostalgia is going to look the same. It's like, there's also different ways to play with nostalgia. Like we can go 50s, we can go early 1800s. Right. Like, we can have fun. So I think that it's more about like having a little variety, and not feeling like, oh, I need to look like this because this popular girl looks like this. Right. Have fun.
And for me, it's like if you're going to pull from the archive, like gag us. If you don't gag us, I just be like, what was the point?
What was the point?
Like I don't get it, and I just feel
why did we open up the door?
Right. Like we had to wear the white gloves for you to do this. Like, or even if you're recreating an archival look, like the Met Gala this year was really disappointing in a lot of ways for me. Like I was really pissed about Lana Del Rey recreating that look and it looking like a knockoff of the original.
I do do not remember what Lana Del Rey wore.
She wore the Alexander McQueen look like the big tree. They had like the veil. It was so bad. But I don't like Sean McQueen either. So maybe I'm being biased. But everybody was going up and I was like, I don't see it.
You know, I don't really remember the look, so that says a lot.
Yeah. And that's an iconic look for McQueen. Yeah. Like that white with the tree, the deer antlers.
Look, but I don't remember her.
Yeah, because it didn't do it. It looks very like, it looked like he got the tool from like, remember when Walmart used to sell fabric? It looked like he got some like tool from Walmart and just like put it on the branches. It was really bad. Yeah, it was so bad. I can't. So where do you see your career residing within the industry as you get older and acquire more experience?
I just want to be a fixture. I want to be a staple in the industry. I want to continue to grow. I want to continue to have fun. I want to continue to spread my wings and do different projects. And I want to make work that lasts.
Absolutely.
I would love for 50 years from now someone to look in a book and see an editorial or like a project that I worked on and be like, oh, this is inspiring, this is cool, and then inform them later. So I just want to make sure that I'm making work that feels timeless, work that later on when I'm looking at it, I'm like, I still really love that project.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And when it comes to like, I know you like your freedom as a freelance, would you consider like maybe a sitcom or a TV show?
Oh, I would love. Yeah. I feel like that's like in my as time progresses, that's something I want to move towards, is doing a little more film and television as well, and getting my feet wet there and seeing how that feels. I haven't really done it yet. I've done now commercial projects that have allowed me to do some costuming, but no television yet. So I would love to do that.
Okay. It's coming.
I love storytelling.
Absolutely. It's coming. It's coming. And now we're back with Mel in the City. And this is going to be a this or that game where I ask her this or that. Just say whatever comes to mind first. And if you want to explain or flip the question on me, feel free.
Okay.
Okay. Ready? All right. Silver or gold jewelry?
Silver.
Period.
Silver.
Like
I'm sorry, but you cannot go wrong.
You can't.
You can stack it, and it won't look too gaudy. It always looks chic. I'm a silver girl through and through. Yeah. No issues with gold. It has its moments. And some people look great in it, but I'm a silver girl. Yeah.
Like it's even down to, and let me know if you're like this too. Like let's say, like remember the Jack Moo bag? It's like silver, but it has like the gold knobs.
And then I can't.
I can't get it because I want silver knobs.
I want it to be silver.
Yeah. Okay.
Now I can't get it. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It was like, wow, it's a beautiful bag, but that gold is just throwing it off. Even I went to Bergdorf's last weekend and they have the ad bag in store, but it has a gold belly ring on the bag. I'm like, oh my God.
Ruined it.
Like, I can't. Margiela or Y Project?
Margiela.
Okay. Indica or sativa?
Hybrid.
Me too.
I can't go too far on either side of the spectrum. I need to be right in the middle.
Yeah, because sativa be having me. If it's too sativa, it's too paranoid. And the indica, I'm like down.
Did you hear that? That's not okay.
Right. Thai or Chinese takeout?
Ooh, Thai.
Me too. What's your go-to Thai order?
Crab fried rice. Love a crab fried rice. Love coconut curry. Anything. Those are my two go-tos. Okay. And I love sticky wings and mango sticky rice. Oh my God.
I love a sticky rice. So good.
I'm actually starved now.
Wine or champagne?
Champagne.
Yeah. What's your brand?
Actually, I'm a Prosecco girl. And I do tend to drink, I do tend to drink a lot of La Marca.
Okay, they're good though.
Friday night, get my bottle of
That's the one with the blue label. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a La Marca girly through and through.
I like that.
I literally only drink Prosecco actually.
Okay. Yeah, I Prosecco more too because champagne is pricey as fuck. And it's more of a celebratory thing to me. Like, if I'm celebrating something, like, give me a little champagne.
And it's not as bubbly. I love how the bubbles really hit me with Prosecco. It, like, wakes me up. You know?
Absolutely. You already answered the next one about NY summer, NY fall. NY summer girly. Idolinger or Loire?
Loire.
Okay, explain.
Luar is first of all, Raul is one of the first people that I met when I moved to New York and I worked the opening ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
And to see how far he's brought the brand is just so important to me.
Yeah.
And it's such a cultural staple. And the way that he really gathers the girls is important.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so fun.
Yeah.
You know, I do love Ottlinger. I'm wearing my Ottlinger skirt today, and like they're fun, but I do think it's getting a little repetitive.
Yeah.
And I do like his fresh take on where things are going.
Absolutely.
It excites me.
Yeah.
It's exciting, especially for a New York brand.
Mm-hmm.
We were sort of missing that excitement, so it's so nice to have that back in the city.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, that's the show I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, he's like closing. He's like the new Marc Jacobs when it comes to like Fashion Week. I remember when Marc Jacobs used to be like, that's the show you want to go to. He's closing Fashion Week, and now that's
girls
Luar.
are fighting for these tickets.
Yes. Like, child, the only thing, and I've said this a few times, Raul, where are the clothes? Like, I will see a look on the runway or see it like, you know, a certain celebrity wearing. I'm like, Raul. Now,
it's expensive
it
to produce
is.
these brands.
It
you know?
is.
I feel like he's doing it slowly but surely. You know, he's starting off with his accessories, probably to fund the brand.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's a smart way to go. You know, you don't want to produce a lot of clothing that you're not sure is ready yet. So you want to make sure that you're there. Take your time. I don't think we need to rush it at all.
Yeah.
You know?
I want that eyewear. Like, more than anything, I want the eyewear.
I need those shades.
The tortoiseshell ones.
I need them.
So good.
I need them.
So good.
Yeah.
Carrie Bradshaw or John Clayton?
Ooh, Carrie Bradshaw.
Yeah.
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 Rooftop party or house party?
I love to be in a house.
Me too.
Sometimes I don't want to be exposed to the elements.
Absolutely.
I don't want to be freezing on a roof.
And I feel more safe, like, in a house environment.
You know, like I just want to be in someone's house, in the living room, cozy. I love a little kickback on a Friday night at a friend's house.
Yes.
It's my favorite. Actually, it's like my favorite activity to do in New York.
Do you like hosting at all?
I always host. I always have the girls over.
Yes.
We're going to put on our runway shows. We're going to order food. We're going to drink Prosecco. You know?
Yeah, that's my type of vibe for sure. So, if we're dating Mel Reneè, do you like a dinner date followed by a stroll in the city or a museum outing followed by a rooftop bar?
I would love a dinner date followed by a stroll in the city. I like to eat. Take me to a nice restaurant. I want to eat good food. I want to talk about life. I want to have a drink. I want to get into your mind, learn who you are.
Exactly.
And then once we're nice and tipsy, we take that stroll and just like, you know, maybe stop, have a cute kiss, like romantic. Yeah, I like that.
Okay. Leather or denim?
Ooh, leather.
Yeah, I think leather is just a bit more
It's
for
bitchy.
me.
It's just so bitchy. I love a bitchy look. You know?
Even the smell and the texture, it's just it's so
I love
good.
the smell of leather.
Yes. Loewe or Balenciaga?
Loewe.
Yeah. Loewe's taking it.
Yeah, Jonathan Anderson, you will always be famous.
Yeah.
You will always be famous. Oh my God, he's taking it.
I was really excited about the rumor of him going to Gucci because I was just like, that's what they need.
I could see that, actually.
Me too.
I could see that.
Like, I would love to see what he does because I feel like Loewe is very similar to his J.W. Anderson brand. Like, they kind of piggyback off each other in like this very unique way. And I feel like Gucci would take him completely out of his element.
A little, but I could see that translating over to Gucci quite easily, actually. When you say that, I didn't think about that before, but I think that would be exciting.
Yeah. That's kind of why I wanted Delara to go to McQueen.
I thought that she would have been such a great option for McQueen.
Yes, because it would be like J.W. Anderson and Loewe. Like, it would play off of each other so well. So, I don't know. Y'all need to get that together. Get Shine out of there.
Because she reminds me a little like, I mean, dare I say it, obviously no one's McQueen.
Yeah.
But, you know, some of the elements of her work remind me a little of like what old McQueen was doing. I think that would have actually been exciting to see.
Yeah.
You know?
And she would have sold it to the girls. Like,
so.
McQueen more so now is known for like footwear, sneakers, and things like that. And I just feel like when McQueen was here, he was known for so much more. And I want that to come back. So this next segment is who has the better style. All right.
Are we gonna get in trouble?
We're gonna get into it. And precursor, think of all of these people in their proms.
Okay.
Okay. Rihanna or Solange?
Oh, you came out the gate screaming. Oh my God, Rihanna.
Rihanna, okay.
I don't know.
That's a hard one.
You know what? That is really, 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 really difficult. Because honestly, Solange is. Do I have to say Solange?
When I had Milton on, he had this same reaction.
You know, because her style speaks to me more as far as like how, like, my aesthetic, my overall aesthetic. I'm just gonna go with my first mind. I said Rihanna. No takesy backsies.
Yeah, okay.
It is what it is.
Both great choices. FKA Twigs or Doja Cat?
You are really. Oh my God. FKA.
Yeah.
That's my girl for life.
Hands down.
I'm sorry, but she means so much to me.
Yeah.
And
she
it's
just so unique.
Effortless.
Yeah.
You know, even just like some of her old street style photos. It's just like, I know that you just picked this up off the floor and, you know, of your room. You threw it on, you went out, and you just look like stunning and effortless. I really love that about her.
And when I look at like a lot of like the accessories and things she carry, like she does a lot of emerging brands, and you can't find her shit a lot of the times. Like she's very daring and avant-garde, like in her normal life, and I love that.
And I think like, would there really be a Doja Cat style without FKA Twigs coming first?
No.
And I don't think so. And that's no shade at all.
Yeah, none at all.
I love Doja's style, but I'm gonna have to go with Twigs.
Absolutely. JT or Cardi B?
Cardi B.
Cardi. Okay.
Cardi. Yeah.
Gwen Stefani or Khalees in their primes?
Khalees. And that is hard. But Khalees has birthed so many artists, so many people. Nobody was doing what she was doing when she came out. And she means so much to me, actually.
Same. She's like my style icon for sure.
Like just even overall personality, who she is as a woman, I really admire and respect, and I really love Khalees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I love that she pushed the boundaries
so forward,
and it was like so natural for her. Like even her art and
when she came out with Bossy after she cut her hair, and she was just like
turned
throwing so much shade. And
yeah.
Girl,
turned it.
Yeah.
Like every era is just so good.
So good.
Chloe 70 or Tracy Ellis Ross? This is a hard one for me.
Wow.
Like, phenomenal. And I put them both against each other because they are women of age, but they're still setting the trends and doing their thing.
You know, I am a Chloe stan. I am. Because she's like one of the original New York cool girls.
Yeah.
To me, I love her in interviews. I love her. I love her sense of style. I love her sense of self. She reminds me of someone that I would probably like hang out with.
Absolutely.
So, and this is not easy.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm gonna have to say Chloe.
I would say Chloe too.
You really took it there. Like, you really did.
I would say Chloe too. What takes her a bit over the edge for me is that she will wear emerging designers and wear it in a way to where it really changes the trajectory of their brands.
Ooh, yeah.
And I feel like Tracy Ellis Ross, everything she wears is stunning, but you know, she plays with the designer girls, the Schiaparelli, the Loewe's. But to see Chloe in a Dewan Jacari skirt, that is, or to see her in, who did she wear to the Met? I can't think of, who did she wear to the Met? Was it Simone Rocha?
What, was it Simone Rocha?
It was an up-and-coming designer. It was was it Delara?
I actually don't remember.
It was one of the up-and-coming girls. I was just like, wow.
Terrible. But what I will say too, I think that Tracy is a woman who loves to shop, and she shops well. She basically looks well. Chloe's like sort of just like lives her life in this style that she has, and it's so like quirky and like a bit strange and a little bit off. And I always love a girl who's just like a little bit like, something about it is a little strange, you know, the look that you put together. I really appreciate that. I think that it's really unique. Yeah.
Like when I was watching the 360 video for the first time and I looked at the like last shot of all the girls lined up, I'm looking at Chloe. Like y'all all look phenomenal.
All these like young girls,
yes.
And she's taking it. She's
yes.
eating the girls alive.
Every time.
Eating them alive.
Every time.
I really love it.
Yes. Well, we're at the end of the show. This was so fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming because I admire your work. I'm always rooting for you. Always talking about you. Thank you.
I'm always rooting for the show and like what you're doing on TikTok. I think it's so inspiring and fun.
Thank you.
And I know that the girls are watching and the kids are watching. So like, thank you so much for bringing me on and popping by podcast sharing.
Absolutely. There'll be many more.
Yes.
Many more, especially as your career gets bigger and bigger and you do different projects. But let the listeners know where they can find and support you.
So you can find me on, I'm mainly on Twitter. I'm such a Twitter girl. Mel Reneè Styles. Also Instagram, Mel Reneè Styles. And my TikTok. You know what's so crazy? I do not know my TikTok name.
I'll put it in the
it's like
in the
Mel
caption.
Reneè World or something because someone took Mel Reneè Styles, which
really?
I thought was really dark.
That's weird. Because where were y'all at on Twitter and Instagram?
You
like,
know.
what's going on?
Yeah.
Have you did Threads yet? Have you gotten into Threads yet?
I'm not going to.
Yeah, I was that way at first, and the only reason why I got on there is because there's a lot of opportunity there.
Okay.
As far as like for creatives, but what I will say, a lot of those opportunities are like it be giving scammer vibes. Like specifically like New York Fashion Week. I'm coming to New York Fashion Week looking for stylists, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, once you reach out to them about the project, like, they just want engagement. It's just, like, little stupid shit like that.
That's strange to
so
me.
It's like...
What? How strange?
It's so stupid. And it's like, I love Twitter, too. Like, Twitter, I can be on it all day.
I love to talk. I love to talk, you know? So Twitter is where it's at for me. I love to post photos and all of that, of course. But I also just love to engage and, like, have conversation with people.
Absolutely.
It's important.
Absolutely. And before we get out of here, one last question. What shows are you looking for Fashion Week, looking forward to attending?
Lure. I can't wait.
Period.
Yep.
And is that on Sunday?
That is on the 13th.
The 13th. Oh, so he's closing.
The 11th.
Okay.
It's the 13th or the 11th.
I'll be stalking the story and watching.
I can't wait.
And as we say at the end of every show, leave here empty. You cannot take your gifts with you. Try it out. See what sticks. And there's no rules to creating. So do it all. And we'll see you next week. Bye.